Hey, welcome back to the shop. I'm Gary Fortunato. Got a box in the mail. Let's open up and see what it is. Pretty sure it's a box in a box. And it is. Bestarc reached out to me and asked me if I would do an unboxing and review of their plasma cutter. And this is their BTC 500 DP. So the 500 I think is this, it's a 50 amp plasma cutter. It does 110 or 220. 110 it'll go up to, I'm sure it'll go up to something less than 50 amp, and then put in 220 it'll go up to 50 amp. But I haven't read anything, haven't opened, it's all still wrapped in plastic. Get into it, so let's cut into it and see what we've got. Blistered on there tight. They've got it dotted here for the BTC 500 DP. If you went to the website, you'll see they have a 65 amp as well. It's a model 650. But they have the 500s, which is the model with the 50 amp. I'm not sure what the 7 is. It's marked off, but I'm sure I'll find out at some point. And all the features comes with the plasma cutter, cutting torch, an earth clamp with cable, so it's ground, what we call ground, a tip, nozzle, the electrode, and an air hose. So let's see what kind of items are in the box. I might have to sharpen my knife. Definitely tape those tight. And it's definitely packed in there tight. Alright, let's see what we got. Styrofoam. 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 Plasma cutter. And a box of parts. And more styrofoam. So I'm going to throw all the styrofoam in the box. Alrighty. So it comes with a 220 outlet on it. And I'm sure there's an adapter for 110 somewhere. One thing right through the plastic, it's got the connector I need for my air hose, my air chuck, so I'll have to put an adapter on it. Digital display, all the connections, but we'll get out of the plastic here and look at some more. Let me see what's in this here box. All right. Air hose. Give it a little Teflon tape. There's some aviation clamps here. Let me just open it up. Just look through the thing. There we go. This Teflon tape, small roll. A couple of, I call them aviation hose clamps. I'll just throw that one on the floor for the air hose, which I don't need. And looks like a couple of nozzles for the torch. So, put all that back in there for safekeeping. So here's the ground clamp, earth. Here's the 110 to 220 adapter. And I've got a long extension cord on my 220, so I probably will just use 220 right off the bat, try it out. The only thing in here is the user manual. I'll look over that. I like it. It comes with a torch on it, or the tips on it, I mean. And it has the little guide on there. Keep it the right distance off so you don't wear your electrode out so much. It just fits in that groove and spins around. You can take it off, put it in a different one. Line that up. and the connectors for the machine, and I guess that's supposed to be a wrench, which is fine, but I'll get some railroad tools out. So I'm going to unwrap plastic off of this and read through the instructions, see what it says, see if the instructions tell me anything more than I already know to do, and then we'll come right back. Okay, so all I did is took the plastic cover off of that and I read through the book. Actually, pretty good book, very informative. This has got the little guide on there to help it keep an exact distance, which is good for somebody like me that's not very steady with one of these. But according to their book, the cutting thickness here, this for the 50 amps. If you run it to 50 amps, it'll do up to 12 millimeters, which is roughly half an inch. And it needs 60 to 70 psi of air pressure. So I've got my air hose over here, and I've got my extension cord ready to go, but I haven't hooked anything up yet. As far as the operations go, it's got a digital display, and it has some stuff on there. There's a PT and PA, which is for post time and pilot arc time and stuff like that. And it indicates whether you're 110 or 220 and whether the fan's on. But the one thing, it's got is a little chart, little bars that light up for your air pressure. And if the top two light up, it's red, it'll light up red, and that means your air pressure is too high. Bottom two will be red, that means it's too low. So you want it the green, which are the three lines in the center. So we'll look at that when we hook everything up. And as far as some of the features of this plasma cutter, the 50 amp digital plasma cutter, it's built in with a pilot arc function, and then with stainless steel cutting thickness, it's supposed to do a quality cut up to 14 millimeters, but I don't have any. I guess of stainless steel, which I could probably try whether I get to it on this video or another future video, we'll see. But I just have thin stainless steel and I have thin aluminum. But it'll cut all of that. The duty cycle, it's going to be 60% duty cycle if you're running it at full 50 amps on 220, or even if you're running at the full 35 amps on 110. There's some other features on here. I'll hold this up. If you want to pause it and look at it, you're more than welcome to. If it's even showing up, I don't know. But anyway, that's some of the features of it. So let's hook it up. All right. So first thing I'm going to do is hook up the torch to the front. So let's bring in close. All right, I'm going to hook the torch up first. So we got a protective piece for the torch. And up snug. Do this left-handed. Yeah, need to do it that way. Sorry, my hand's in the way, but I got big hands and this is a small thing. I'm gonna run that, kind of point it down. This is the controller. It's got a little notch on there. The notch is on the bottom, looks like. Pretty easy. Other than I put this thing in the way. There we go. Alright, took me a little bit to get that one started. Right, tight, tight, tight. Take the ground. The lug is in the bottom. Put that in and twist it. Alright. So let's see for the back side what we got. We got a power cord. Cut stuff off. Grab my air hose, see if it connects. And it does. Power. And Just power it on, see what happens. Okay, so here's our amps. Lowest it goes is 15. I said I'm plugged into 220, so it should go all the way up to 50. There we go. I'm just going to leave it on 50 for now. So what do we have here? Air. And wait for the air compressor to go off. This is how you adjust your air. You pop that out, and then you turn it clockwise. See, the air pressure goes up. Counterclockwise. Probably doesn't go down as fast unless you switch this over to air. You can adjust it, go back to cut before my air compressor kicks back on. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna leave it at 64, whatever. That's good enough for me right now. So 4T or 2T. So the difference, in case you don't know, 2T, you just pull the trigger and you cut. You let up the trigger, it stops cut. 4T, you pull the trigger, and if you don't, in case you don't want to just hold on to the trigger all the time, you got like a lot of cutting. You just pull the trigger, it starts cutting, and you let up on the trigger, it keeps on cutting, and when you want to finish up, you hit the trigger again, and that turns it off. So it's basically a toggle at that point, where you hit it once, turns it on, hit it again, turns it off. But you don't have to keep your finger on the trigger. Right now I'm going to leave it on 2T. So that's, I think it said post, PT was post time. Yeah, PT's post time, a time for post air, so how much air is going to be on there afterwards. So it's got 3 seconds. I'll just leave it at that for now. I guess you can adjust that. Yeah, 3 seconds is the lowest, so I'm just going to leave it at 3 seconds. PA is your pilot arc time. So I'm not sure what to leave it at, but I'll just leave it at 8 for right now because that's what it's set at. Sounds good to me. Can always adjust it later. And that's it. I'm taking the ground. I'm just going to hook up from a table. And I got some stuff here I want to work with. I was teaching some welding to a guy, and he was practicing on this. I thought, I'll just see if it'll cut through the weld and steel and everything. If you want to read up more about this, I'll include links in the description of the video to Bestarc's website, their social media sites, and where you can get this. I believe you can buy it on Amazon or probably from their store as well. Alright, let's just see. Now this also has a trigger guard. You have to put your finger underneath that so that you can't accidentally turn it on. Let's see what happens. I'm going to start off. You can pierce with it by holding it at an angle to the metal and then rotating it in to pierce. Now I'm just going to do a straight cut from the side. It was not a very straight cut, but I'm just freehanding it. Grab some pliers here. That's pretty jagged stuff. You can see it's been welded up where he was learning how to stick weld. So it cut through all that jagged mess. It did leave some slag on there, but that's probably a lot of it. It could be the setting. A lot of it could just be me. I may have been going too fast, but it's just popping right off. So it's no big deal. So other than my shakiness, you can see the cut through there. I'm going to try a straight cut. This is an old bush hog blade. you're watching this, I do blacksmithing too. So blacksmithing, we like to use high carbon steel to make tools. I use coil springs, leaf springs, and cut them up because they're high carbon. I can harden them and make chisels and punches and anything I need to make with them. We usually use mild steel for everything else. But this is an old bush hog blade, and if you're into blacksmithing and you're watching this, don't get new bush hog blades, because the old high carbon ones were a little more brittle and they'd break and they go flying out from under the bush hog. So they made them they'd make them out of like either mild steel or almost mild, and they'll bend all the pieces when they come up. So instead of breaking and flying out, they'll just ball up the steel, which is no good. But that's just the way that goes. So I am going to, I cut off a chunk a long time ago with a torch. So I'm going to try, even though this is real rusty, who knows what it's going to do. I'm going to see how this will use as a guide. That'll work. I think we'll even go as far as putting on gloves. I know, that's just crazy talk. I know. Okay, the tip's still clean after that one cut. Let's see how this will do through the rusty metal, high carbon steel, and this is a 1/2 inch thick, or 12 millimeters. So this will be a good test of it. Got on 50, and let's see what it does. So we're going to put on gloves, I never put them on. All right. Okay, just to recap, that's what I did with my torch. It's probably been 5-6 years ago or more. I don't even know how long. And that's what it looks like with the plasma cut. I got a little out of whack here. I started going too fast because I wasn't sure how fast to go. But the rest of that, I think, came out really nice. There's some slag on the back. Let's see how hard it is to get that off. I like using that. Using that with a guide, way better than that. I'll take this and I'll forge it into a punch or a knife or a chisel or anything I want to make out of it, because it's high carbon. Okay, I want to see what it's like to wash off some welds. I was just trying to see if I could wash off a weld. It washed off pretty good. I had to take the guard off of it, or the guide, I mean, off of it first. Well, my final thoughts on the Bestarc. It's a BTC 500 DP, 50 amp plasma cutter. Has worked really well. I was pleasantly surprised. It cut well. Other than my shakiness, I haven't been out here in much practice cutting, so you get a little out of it. But the more I cut with it, the better I'll get with it. Hopefully I get some other projects coming up where I need to cut some stainless steel and some aluminum, because I'm getting back into practicing my TIG welding, and I got some scrap stuff, so I'm going to cut it up so I can re-weld it back together. So when I do that, hopefully I'll bring you along and you can see the plasma cutters in action. And yeah, it's a good deal. Like I said, I put links in below to all the social media, plus where you can buy one. I have their link to their place. You can go out there and look at there. Plus, I'll put some of my affiliate links down below. Takes you to the same place that their links take you to. It doesn't cost you any more. Click on an affiliate link. Anyway, I just thought I'd let you know. They sent it to me. Full disclosure, they sent this free, but they didn't. They're not paying me. They're not telling me what to say. This is strictly me talking. You saw what it did. I didn't do it all different thicknesses. I went over real rough welded steel just to see if it cut through it. Went right through it. Then I cut on this half-inch thick high carbon stuff. Had to get used to the speed of it and all that. It kind of blew out here and there, but that was just more my getting used to it and the speed. But that's like anything. More I get used to it, more I cut with it, the better I'll get. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. And appreciate them sending it to me and y'all checking them out. And y'all have a blessed day. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye now. Smile. Cheese. And they asked me if I would be willing to do an unboxing and review of they asked me if I would be willing to do an unboxing and kind of review and showing of their do an unboxing and review of their plasma cutter. Still can't talk. Okay. So I'm gonna